Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD StarCraft and I'm here to bring you guys another Heart of the Swarm broadcast. And today should be a pretty good one. We're going to be looking at a Zerg versus Zerg, but it's not just any ZVZ. Down in the bottom right hand corner we're going to be looking right now at the red Zerg player, none other than Liquid.TLO. And in the top right hand corner we're looking at none other than EG.Idra. So it is going to be a Zerg versus Zerg between two pretty good friends and pretty well-known players in the StarCraft 2 community, so this should be a good one, and it is on Akalon Waste as well. Looks like TLO is actually asking Idra right now if he wants to play a bunch of games with the replay thingy, so we can start 4 to 5 minutes in. I think what he's asking right now is if Idra wants to play up to the 5-minute mark, and then obviously play out the whole game, and then restart after the game is done and start over at the 5-minute mark again, so they can just, you know, get past the early macro stuff, and then play, I guess what I'm guessing is going to be playing a macro game time and time again. So that's pretty cool. I only have this replay here, so I'll just be casting this one, but it is going to be a pretty interesting in. Looks like Idra here talking about some city he's moved in, and I think he is still at the EG house in Arizona. So I guess he just moved out to a new apartment or something like that, a new house or something. And TLO here is apparently streaming right now, so this should be a good game. This is I think one patch old, but the latest patch really didn't really have much of a change at all to Zerg play, because the only change was a couple of changes to the Hellbat and the way it did damage. So this should be as up-to-date as you would hope it to be. And Zerg versus Zerg is a matchup that I don't cast too often. Although I guess Protoss versus Protoss, if we could do like a pie graph and look at the matchups that I cast least often and compare it to the ones that I cast most often, I guess Protoss versus Protoss would probably lay somewhere at the bottom end of the spectrum. So I'll try to recall that. I'll try to remember that and do some more PvPs. Anyways, we do have a little bit of Overlord kissing action here. Although that is not the first Overlord. The little one already has one heading towards the natural of Idra. And right now Idra is throwing up a spawning pool and an extractor back at home. Looks like he wants to go for, obviously, Zerglings and get some Zergling speed as well. ZVZ in general has changed a little bit from the way it's played in Wings of Liberty. You do see more players. Mutalisks were always popular in ZVZ. They really were towards the end of Wings of Liberty as well. But in Zerg vs. Zerg today, Mutalisks are still very popular because they have that ability to regenerate very quickly. Early on in the beta, you saw a lot of players experimenting with Swarm Hosts, but Mutalisks kind of shut that down as well, because obviously mutas are air, and you know, Swarm Hosts can't attack air. But Roaches and Hydras are also still very good, because Hydras now are so much more buff than they were before. So you do have a lot of different play styles that can evolve now in Zerg versus Zerg. And with two players of this caliber, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. We could even see the old school Zergling Baneling play style, the very volatile, you know, I'm going to out micro you and beat you that way kind of style as well. So we'll see if either player decides to throw out on Baneling Nest. Typically, it is preferred to throw down a Baneling Nest, because you'll usually need it for defensive purposes at the very least. So I guess what I'm trying to ask here is, will we see a Zerg player go for an offensive Baneling strike, or will they just rely on a defensive nest? And we do have Idra right now throwing one up, and that is where you would expect to see the Baneling Nest. It's usually, you want to throw it a couple of hexes away from the hatchery, and you want to try to build a pseudo wall as much as you can, as Zergly possible, which is pretty hard to do. It's hard to wall off with the Zerg because you have to rely on the creep as a foundation, and obviously this is going to get in the way, the unbuildable rocks and whatnot. So if you can try to wall off the front door, it's always a good idea to do so, and that's what the little one is doing here as well. He's actually got the Baneling Nest in a pretty good spot, but the Spine Crawler a little more forward, so that he can defend against a run-by, or I guess not a run-by, but he can defend both the main and the natural with the Spine Crawler in that position. Now, a couple of Zerglings coming up for Idra, and he is going to try to get into the main base, and he does just that. He's now in the main, and it looks like finally the Zerglings have been taken out. They didn't really see anything serious, and so not much of scouting information right there for Idra. But one thing I did notice on the production tab is Idra's got a lot of gases here. He's got 4 gases now, and he's going up to layer. He's actually got a much quicker layer than his counterpart does. And now will the little one be able to sniff this out? He does see the double gas at the natural, and he should be... Oh, that Zergling almost got in the main, but there was a queen there nevertheless, so it's unlikely it would have been able to do much. A couple of Zerglings from EG.Idra actually finding their way into the main, and this could be deadly. EG.Idra could hide them in the corner in the fog of war, make them into banelings, and then walk them in when the little one is preoccupied with something else. But it looks like EG.Idra is just going to run in there and I guess just go in right now. And I guess he values the scouting info more than the potential of getting a, you know, explosive strike against the drone line. And you know, that doesn't hurt. Getting the scouting information actually, I think, is probably more important at this stage, and hope to outplay them in the late game, not in the early game. But anyways, EG.Idra's reasoning for going for all the gases here is he wants to go for Spire, and he's going to go for the Mutalisk that I was talking about before in the beginning of this game. We do have a departure of strategy from the little one. He's going for Burrow, and he's actually making a ton of Zerglings right now. Now remember, he's got a Baneling nest too, so I guess what he's going to try to go for is a Baneling strike. But what is the Burrow for? Is he just going to have Burrow just in case so that he can out-micro his opponent? We'll have to see, but EG.Idra himself is getting a couple of Banelings too. He knows the threat of possible Zerglings here. There is a Spire also coming up from the little one, but it is far behind the Spire of EG.Idra's. And so EG.Idra, is he going to make any Mutalisks right now? He doesn't have the money to do it, and right now he's preoccupied with these Zerglings. Zerglings are going to burrow, and that is why EG.Idra got the burrow research, so that he can hide Zerglings under the foundation of the hatchery. And if he wants to, oh, there's a little bit of action going on here. The little one has to dodge that Baneling. He cannot let it get close. Very hard to do this. Usually you want to send 2 Zerglings on a Baneling, because just sending one doesn't get the job done. I like what the little one is doing here, though. He's unburrowing a Zergling to detonate the enemy Banelings, and that was successful. And now EG.Idra is coming in with the Overseer, but the Zerglings are all gone. Now the Mutalisks have been revealed. So if the little one was at all in the dark as to what Mr. EG.Idra was planning to do, he definitely knows now. He knows that there are Mutalisks in the skies, and thankfully for him, his Spire is just about to finish up. The Overseer is going to see that. But I almost feel like the little one's preemptive strike with Zerglings here has basically kept the Mutalisks from being produced as quickly as EG.Idra would have liked them to be produced. And as a result, he loses his edge. He loses the advantage he would have had with these early Mutalisks. Now, there are more Zerglings coming into this hatchery, and I'm not too sure. Yeah, actually, enough Mutalisks should be here to defend and save that base. But I really like the little one's strategy. Basically, he's delayed EG.Idra's Mutalisks from coming out for as long as he possibly can. He knows he can't win the air battle now, but if the longer he delays with these Zergling strikes, the more time he gets to get more Mutas, and 7 Mutas are about to pop out for the little one. So right now, if you look at the Muta count, he's only down by 4 Mutalisks, and both players conveniently, intelligently getting Carapace rather than Flyer attacks. Carapace, I feel like, is a much better upgrade than Flyer attacks in Muta versus Muta Wars. So here we go. The little one does have a flock of Mutas himself. He has a Spore Crawler as well to fall back to. Right now, his Evolution Chambers are under attack, but it's not a serious danger to lose an Evo Chamber right now. Oh! Doesn't want to lose that Mutalisk, though. Even one Mutalisk is so important here in the end result of this air versus air battle, this dogfight, because every Mutalisk is an additional set of Glaive Worms that you would have launched out, and all those splash damage adds up as well too. So you really got to be careful about losing a Mutalisk right there, and thankfully the little one does pull it back, and it will regenerate pretty quickly due to tissue regeneration. Both players are going full on Sky Zerg here. 15 Mutas for the little one, and 16 Mutas for EG.Idra, with 8 more on the way for EG.Idra. So EG.Idra's about to take a really dominant position here, although the little one is doing everything he can do to catch up. It's very, very close, to be quite honest with you guys, but if you look at the overall supply, you can see that the little one is suffering. That's because EG.Idra has more drones, and that's going to end up costing the little one in the long run, because the drone differential here is really going to hurt his ability to keep up Mutalisk-wise, and he's just lost his upgrade advantage too, because EG.Idra just finished +1 Carapace. Of course, the +1 Carapace for the red Zerg player, the little one, is about to come up as well, but this is not looking good for TLO. I'm not too sure what he can do here, and the problem with it is just the early Zergling strike. I mean, I thought it was going to work out for him, but at the end here, EG.Idra just takes a significant lead. He's even got an extra hatchery as well. And here we go. The little one is going to go in with everything he's got. I don't know if he's got enough, though. This is a really sick air Mutalist battle, but you can see there is a differential 13 to 20, 12 to 20, and this is not looking good for TLO, and uh-oh, Zergling's coming in as well, so that will distract the Glaive Worm Fire. That's what you used to see in Brood War, but the little one has to call GG, completely outmuscled by Mr. EG.Idra. Very, very nice game right there, and both these players, obviously, they know each other very well, they're good friends, probably will end up playing some more matches, but unfortunately I don't have those replays. But this was a nice little ZVZ here, just showcasing you know, some of the old school popular players playing Heart of the Swarm now. Very fun to watch. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at HD StarCraft. And don't forget, the Heart of the Swarm is going live in less than 2 weeks on March 12th. Get your copy as soon as you can. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is HD, signing out.